Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be about what helps versus what hurts when it comes to mental illness. I'm just going to discuss some things that actually help me and some things that hurt me or slash are unhelpful. So let's start out with what hurts or what is unhelpful to me. Platitudes. Platitudes are the worst. They are cliche, first of all, and they're just empty words. And to be quite honest, the worst one is it is what it is. Like that is the most annoying platitude that there is, especially when you use it referring to struggles with mental illness. To say it is what it is just seems so minimizing. So, anyway, platitudes. Secondly, judgments. Okay. Now, as somebody that lives with mental illness, I can tell you that there are going to be times where we have impulsive behavior or where we have periods of exercising poor judgment. And we might do things that we normally wouldn't do. And that might cause some people to pass judgment on us. And so I just ask that you would reserve your judgment. Um, because that is, like I said, that is something that happens due to our mental illness. And it's not always something that we would do when we're in our right mind, literally. So reserve judgment, please. Judgment is not helpful and it's very, very hurtful. Another thing that doesn't help is unsolicited advice, okay? If we want advice, we will ask for advice. Giving us a bunch of advice, overwhelming us with all these ideas that you think are so great, doesn't help. Another thing that doesn't help is minimizing, when you might say things like, well, everybody has ups and downs, or everybody, you know, gets sad and mad or whatever. That's just minimizing what we're going through. That's just minimizing. So minimizing doesn't help. Another thing is trying to fix it. Trying to fix it doesn't help either. That's kind of like unsolicited advice. It has the best intentions. There's nothing wrong with trying to help somebody and wanting to fix it. But I can just say that when people have tried to do that for me in the past, that has been unhelpful for me. I don't want you to sit here and try to fix my problems. There's other things that I want you to do for me, and I'll get to that next. Another thing that is very unhelpful is toxic positivity. Okay? And that's the people that are like, well, is the glass half empty or is it half full? Or can you find the silver lining? Or, those kinds of things that drive me absolutely crazy. Okay? Now, I live in the real world, and in the real world, real shit happens. Okay? And there's no sugarcoating it. It sucks. We go through things that just straight out suck. There's no other way to look at it. There's no other way to talk about it. It just sucks. And so when people try to do that whole thing with me, it upsets me. It just makes it worse. So those are some of the things that I find unhelpful or even hurtful. Now, some things that help: validation of feelings and thoughts. Okay, what we think and feel is always valid, whether we're psychotic or manic or just even keel. It is always valid. What you think and what you feel is always valid. And so, validating our thoughts and our feelings is always the best thing you can do. And I know that that's what I'm looking for in other people when I'm really struggling is I need that validation. The other thing is also just your silent presence. I know that sounds kind of weird, but what I need is for somebody to, what I call it is sit with me in the darkness. Just be there with me. Mental illness is so heavy. It is so weighty. It is it is hard to describe the depths of the despair that we feel, the hopelessness that we feel, the emotions that we feel, the sense of loss that we feel, that there aren't words that could be expressed that could help us. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's best not to say anything, but to just show your support by being in our presence, being with us. In fact, I have some quotes. I'm a quote person, and I have some quotes that I love that are kind of about this. One of them says, "When someone is going through a storm, your silent presence is more powerful than a million empty words." And that's by Thelma Davis. And I love that because I think that that is so true. You know, platitudes and sometimes some of the advice that can be given, they're all just empty words. But when you are there with someone, when you're just in the trenches with them, that has meaning. Um, I think another thing that you guys need to remember is some of us people that are mentally ill, we're like burn victims, okay? So like the slightest touch is so excruciatingly painful. And it takes a tender person, a tender heart to be able to interact with us. So I have another quote about that. There is a need for greater tenderness. There is a need for greater compassion. There is a need for infinite patience. This is a delicate work. When you deal with the souls of men, you are touching the most precious thing there is. This is by Francis Roberts. And I don't mean to say this in like a condescending way, but for those of you that aren't mentally ill, there's one thing you need to understand, and that's that you don't understand. And I say that because, you know, for instance, if there's somebody with cancer, okay, I've never had cancer. So I can never understand. I could never understand what they go through. Now, I could put myself in their position and I could think about it. And I could really, you know, think in my mind, oh, I bet it's so painful, you know, and I could empathize with them. But could I ever really truly understand all that they're going through? The answer is no, because I don't have cancer. It's the same way with us that are mentally ill. You, as somebody that aren't mentally ill, could never truly understand what we go through. So you've got to remember that when you're interacting with us. Yes, we want you to empathize with us, but you just got to remember that you're not on that same level as us. That, you know, you just don't know what it feels like to be so crushed unless you've been mentally ill yourself. In fact, there's a quote that I mentioned in one of my other videos that alluded to that same fact. So, anyway, I hope this helps you guys, especially those of you that aren't mentally ill. Just let you know some things that help and some things that don't help. So, keep watching. Take care. Make sure to subscribe and like this video.